What's up, traders? This is Matt with Conservative Trades, ending the day here up $133.63. And I tell you what, guys, it was a little bit of a back and forth struggle out the gates this morning. As you can see here, I mean, I waited till we were just about 10 minutes in before even taking the first trade. And Uber was that trade. I'll go ahead and go over that with you first. It was a chop fest. I have to admit, it was a chop fest. I had higher expectations out of Uber this morning, especially with the way that the market was moving. But you can see here, I did wait, and I actually went long on Uber. I went long here, and you can see I had a stop below 31.51. It came down, stopped me out, but then started getting bought back up. So because it started getting bought back up, I thought to myself, this looks really strong. I'm going to go ahead and get in with another 100 shares here. We're going to take another stab at it. And to those of you who are new to the channel, we stream live right here on the channel Monday through Friday, and those videos are posted to the channel afterwards. So you can always go back and rewatch these live streams, and you can check out, and you'll see exactly what was going on during this time. But I did go ahead and decide to get back in, as you can see right here. And then I said to myself, I said, if it breaks the high of this candle, which is 30.70, I'm going to go ahead and get in with another 100 shares. So it'll give me a 200 share average at roughly 30.65 or something like that. So anyway, it started making a move up here, and I really wanted to wait until it got closer to the pre-market high before taking the first 100 shares. That would have given me about a 65 bucks maybe on that first 100 shares. And my plan was to see it through to at least a whole dollar move. And, so I was really hoping to make about 160 to maybe even $180 on this trade. I might have pieced out at the whole dollar move and then watched where that last 50 shares would go. But it stood to be a pretty good move, guys. And I just hate that, it was a chop fest. You can see here, it came all the way up and it started teetering around these levels. There wasn't a lot of buying pressure. So I went ahead and safely took the first bit of shares off. And as it started to come back down here, you can see I got out before it hit my break even. So, and I'm glad that I did, because it ended up flushing all the way down here. But then it curled around and came all the way back up, broke through VWAP and everything, and then curled over and came all the way back down, breaking through VWAP once again. You can see it was just a massive chop fest. It really wasn't until almost 11 o'clock in the afternoon when it actually started making a significant move up that would have been a little bit more tradable, according to the technicals anyway. So, but you know what, guys, we still came out with, even getting the first trade, losing the first trade and only trading a couple hundred shares. I mean, we made 20 bucks on it, so I really can't complain. Obviously, the trade did pay for itself, and we made a little bit of profit on it after that. So another one that I would like to talk about, more so for the end of the day here, is Apple. Apple was, obviously, it's one of the stocks that I struggled with today. Again, it was just kind of this back and forth action here, and it just wasn't playing out the way that I thought that it would. But it did over here, and I wish I had held on to it more over here. This could have been traded a lot better. But you can see here towards the end of the day, we had a nice massive run up, and what did I do? I traded the pullback strategy. I saw it double topping over here. The levels look good, and it even looked good on the daily. And so I even thought to myself, if we can just get in and get out with a quick scalp, and I can salvage back some of my losses on Apple, that'll be great. And I'm glad I did that, because it actually reduced it to a $30 loss. It went from about a $50 loss to a $30 loss on Apple today. So really, really happy with that. But this just goes to show that pullback, looking for pullback trades and pullbacks in the market in general are really, really good. The strategy really does work. Even back here, like I said, this back here was completely my fault. Let me just kind of blow this chart out a little bit here. You can see here, I mean, we had a nice big massive run up, and there were certainly levels that it was topping out with over here. You can see all of this previous area of resistance here, okay? And, the strategy typically calls for me to just go in with a small share size anyway, allowing me some room to continue to average in as we go up. And so the thing is here, this is why I say that this was poorly managed by me, because really, honestly, guys, because it didn't break this top right here, and it got that rejection on the doji there, I should have actually waited for that move to happen, and then I would have really been able to add into my position right there. And as it came down here, I would have been able to take profit down here at the 20 moving average, and probably would have been able to sit through all of this to see what kind of a better move that we would have gotten. But because I didn't handle it that well, I ended up taking a little bit more of a loss. But it was all right, guys. Like I said, you have to, once you have a trade idea, and once you determine that your strategy is a working strategy, the only other thing you need past that is the mental discipline and the emotional control. We talk about this all the time, but it's just so critical to trading. Okay, so anyway, I like I said, at the end of the day, I felt really good about this trade. And what was happening is the SPY at the same time was just getting this massive buy up. But I looked and I said to myself, I was like, this 310 area is a pretty critical area. And as soon as it looked like it was starting to pull back, that's when I also decided that this would be a good spot to get in for a pullback trade. And that's where I went short right here on Apple. So anyway, I'm pretty happy with that. Facebook was kind of just a back and forth. This stock just kind of teased me, kind of like Boeing did yesterday. This was just one of those strong stocks. I'd get in here, get out a little there. I'd average in up through here, get out there. But, I admittedly, traded enough to keep my head above the water. I mean, you can see here, this was a nice move. We got in some here and we got in some here. My only regret is that I didn't let it go to the 9 EMA here to first start taking profits here, because that actually would have been a bigger move and I could have pieced out from the 9 EMA down to the 20 EMA. But admittedly, I was a little nervous because of Boeing yesterday. And so when Facebook started coming up and doing this sort of thing right here, I noticed that it wasn't a very quick buy up, and here's the thing that needs to really be taken into consideration. And that is, when you're seeing smaller movements in the market like this, it's probably better to size in with a bigger position. Because if I had sized in with, say, 200 shares here, well, as soon as it dropped down to here, I would have made $80 almost on that. So, or more, better than $80. That would have been an $80 move, $80 to $100 move. And so the fact that I only started with just a small, tiny 50 shares is kind of what kept me in there, and I wasn't, it's just not, you're not getting as big of a move there, right? So anyway, but the one caveat to this is, if you do take bigger share size, then you have got to be ready to get out quickly in case this baby wants to skyrocket, which can happen often. It can happen often, but I kind of should have read the signs here. It obviously was not happening much here on Facebook anymore. I mean, it had the massive run up earlier in the day, but all this was just kind of piddling around along that 9 EMA, and it would have, this would have been a good area to take some larger position sizes and smaller scalps. I could have had in all of this area here, in this area here, and in this area up here. I could have done that maybe 3 times, and even at a small rate, if I took, say, just $60 on each of those 3 trades, that would have been an extra $180 to my P&L. So, and they worked out beautifully. But again, hindsight is 20/20, and really, if I'm being completely honest with you and with myself, I would say that the strategy just calls for small share size. It just calls for small share size, because you never know when it's going to just skyrocket through that. Yes, you can take bigger share size and then you can just be ready to stop yourself out quickly. But as you can see here, there's a lot of those moments. There's like when it came up to here, then it came up to here. So you might have gotten stopped out. If you saw the candle start to go down here and you went ahead and got in, but then it pulled back and you had your stop over the high of this candle, you would have gotten stopped out. Okay. It happened again here, but it's not something that again, you have to decide what works best for you. I mean, I'm really kind of beating a dead horse with all this, but let me go ahead and move on to one of my more exciting trades of the day. Believe it or not, LULU. This was. I thought that this was beautiful. Look how much of a run up we got. We got a run up all the way from $306.92 all the way up to $314. This was a perfect add-in spot. My only regret is that I did not go in with bigger share size. I could have taken much bigger share size on this, and I mean, you can just see just what a beautiful move. And got out here, and here's the part that really just bugs the ever-living you-know-what out of me. Here's what bugs me. What bugs me is that I put a stop literally at the break of this candle here. it got me out, and then it came down and went all the way from 312 all the way down to 308. Okay. Can you just imagine? Can you imagine? And I had to walk away. This is why I put a stop here, because I had to walk away. I had some things I had to take care of, and so I come back later and I see it all the way down here, and I'm excited about it. But then I look up and I'm like, oh my goodness, it got me out right before it made that move. And guys, there's nothing that feels worse than that. I mean, really, I can even have a red day. I can handle a red day. Maybe we'll say a small red day. I would even almost rather have a red day than come in and see this junk. This stuff right here is just, this is what bugs the ever living what out of me. And here's the reason why. Because this is the stuff right here that plays with your head the next day when you come in. Why? Because the next day when you come in, you'll just set your stop. You'll be on a stock and you'll say, nope, it's probably going to get me out and then go. So I'm just going to set my stop all the way up here. Well, then it'll come back to your break even. And where you could have profited, an extra 40, 50 bucks or whatever the case may be, now you're getting out break even. And this stuff just messes with you. It just messes with you. And it makes your trading just a little more sketchy the next day. It makes you a little more sketched out as a trader the next day. It makes you paranoid, essentially. It just does not help when trying to exercise or grow or build your confidence as a trader. It just doesn't. I mean, you can see it literally just got me out and went over. And what a beautiful move. What a beautiful move. This literally, and now mind you, I'll say this. I only had 13 shares left here. So really, I would have only made like an extra 65 bucks. But guys, that's an extra 65 bucks. That would have put me up closer to $200 on the day today. That would have paid for my commissions. So, well more than paid for my commissions. I didn't even spend 65 bucks on commissions today. But, it is what it is, but I'm very proud of it because this was a perfect pullback strategy. Again, my only regret is that I did not add in just a little bit more. I could have added in a little bit more, brought my average up. I would have had about because I think I must have taken 25 shares on that. Let me just come down here. Let's see. LULU, yeah, all I took was 25 shares. But again, I was thinking to myself, LULU might be making, some kind of crazy run up all the way back up to these levels. So I wanted to leave myself a little bit of time just in case LULU was going to do a double top today. I wanted to leave myself just a little bit of room to add, another 25 here, another 25 here, another 25 here, and then get a nice pullback. So, I guess, long story short is I traded it exactly the way that I should have. I mean, even here, I took my first half of the shares off as it got to the 9 EMA, and then I was really looking. I almost took more shares off down here, but then I thought to myself, this might actually get a complete move back to here and do a double bottom today, and that's kind of what I was looking for. And look, we almost did it, but I had already determined that if we got back down to these levels here around 308, that I was going to start piecing out again. So it really would have been a nice, much nicer move. SHLL is a stock that I had a pretty fun time trading today. It was a pretty easy, stress-free type of trade. I ended up borrowing shares for shorting, and I went short here at the anticipation of it breaking this candle right here. I noticed it started getting bought up through VWAP and through the 9 EMA, and I said, you know what, I waited for this candle actually, and I said, if it comes up past this candle here, I'll get out. Well, it got me out, but then it got slammed all the way back down, right? And it came here. And then I thought to myself, all right, I'm going to go short again. And I'm going to sit through this, and I'll put my stop over this candle here. So it came all the way back again through VWAP, through the 9 EMA, but then it got rejected, curled over, came down. I shorted again here for the anticipation of the break here. And then I took profit here, and then took profit here at break even. So, which really, this wasn't even break even. I mean, this had brought my average all the way back down to here. So I still got out pretty good on those last shares. And guys, for a pretty simple trade, I mean, it only cost $4 for the shares to short. It only cost $4. Okay, and so just like I said, a real quick, easy, no stress trade, and we only took 50 shares, and we got a pretty solid move, $71.90. So really good trade there. And then RCL, I'll go over that. This was another really nice pullback move, and I got it twice. So you can see I got it here, and it was just kind of teetering around, wasn't really doing anything. So I went short again, and then when it came here, I added to my position again. Well, actually, I take that back. It came down, and I got out some shares, but then as it came back, I noticed it was struggling a little, so I went short again, and then it came all the way back down here, and I got out. Beautiful trade there on RCL, and I got out right here as it was breaking through that 20 EMA. But then it came all the way up here, and I noticed it again, that it was just kind of, it was kind of hitting up against some of these levels back here, and I said to myself, I'll start averaging in here, and I'll average in all the way up to here. Well, I didn't have to. I started my position here, ended up coming all the way down here, and I got it at the break of the 20 EMA. Two beautiful pullback moves there on RCL, giving me a total of about $70 on RCL. So, two really stress-free trades today, and I made the biggest profit on both of them. And you can see here the winners, a lot of the winners, the main winners were almost double what the losers were. And, we had some other nice trades here to pay for commissions. And so, it's a pretty decent day, guys. And I'm pretty happy with how we ended the day today. So, anyway, hope you guys did well also. And, to all my regulars in the chat, once again, it was great seeing you guys today. And, I'm looking forward to tomorrow. We've got 2 more trading days of the week, Wednesday and Thursday. We're not going to be trading Friday, obviously, because of Independence Day. So, we'll be celebrating the 4th of July here in the States. And but other than that, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Get some good sleep. Get ready to get started again tomorrow. All refreshed. I'll be here with you. See you tomorrow. We'll get the live stream started right around 9 a.m. All right, guys. Have a good night.